Well, do you want to? I guess we can go ahead and introduce ourselves real quick. We got a few new folks on here. So, just real quick, I'm Rick Pozos. I'm a real estate investor, done most recently, some notes. I've done rentals, flips, just about everything you can think of. Um, I'm on Bigger Pockets a lot. I have a couple Facebook pages. I have a Belizima Investments, and I also have Frugal Real Estate Guy, and I also have a website, Frugal Real Estate Guy. A lot of it's marketing. Like Nick's going to tell you, he's working on a lot of stuff right now, trying to get his marketing going. I just try to put it out there and, see who comes. When people see your name here and there and everywhere, they realize, okay, this guy kind of knows what he's talking about. He's got to if he's everywhere. So that's me. I try to be in a few different places, especially Bigger Pockets. And then, of course, this meeting, when we were live, it was great. This is okay too. I'm liking it better. Going to the Brew meeting, the Bernie Real Estate Networking, Bernie Real Estate Networking there that Elizabeth and Todd have. Great meeting, virtual also right now. So that's kind of me. I guess we'll go. Nick, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we'll go to Elizabeth and Todd next.
Nick Disney. I'm a single-family real estate investor just in San Antonio. I do buy some in the Valley and some areas surrounding there. So if it's close enough, I'd probably be interested. Mostly rentals, owner finance, and then do flip some houses and wholesale a few just to help feed the machine. I love deals. Need a few more deals, deals and money, and but I also focus a lot on the marketing for my business to find motivated sellers. So I like talking about real estate. So if I can help you out, or if we can help each other out, just let me know. Give me a shout.
Elizabeth, Todd?
You talk. I don't like talking.
So we kind of started off in San Antonio at REGSA meetup and got a couple rental houses, and then got a couple more rental houses, and still looking for rental houses, but kind of got hooked into a little bit of passive investing. So we do a little bit with our self-directed IRA, and have gotten into mobile home parks passively, as well as multifamily and self-storage. So trying to cast a little bit of a wide net, but a lot of it's in Texas. So we also have a meetup last Thursday of the month. And normally it's kind of a Bernie focused or a Northern San Antonio focused get together. But with COVID, we've kind of moved it online. But it's definitely a BYOB kind of event. And once we're back in person, then we usually meet at a brewery or some kind of a ice house, so we can all enjoy a beverage together and share stories and just kind of network a little bit. That's about it.
Cool. Chris?
Hi, everyone. Chris Bodden. I'm relatively new to San Antonio, just past a year. And actually, I found I found you guys on Bigger Pockets. So I went to a couple of the meetups in person when we were at the Mamma Mia's off of 10. Haven't been since we moved to the new location, and then also with COVID and everything. So still trying to get started. I had about 6 or 7 properties back in the early 2000s. So I was doing some investing then, lost them all. And then now I'm ready to get back in, but I've been stuck doing research and then different scenarios, and really trying to figure out if I want to focus on San Antonio or possibly do some out of state stuff. So ideally I would actually love to partner with someone, as I'm learning and really doing some light flips or everything, possibly even private, doing some private funding. I've got my rollover 401k from the company I was with for the last 15 years. Um, so that way, it would be a great win-win if I could be the bank for one of these projects, but then also learn working with someone who's experienced in that. So hope to get going soon. Definitely been stuck in the analysis for too long at this point.
Yeah. All right. How are you looking for deals?
Um, so right now I've only been looking at some of the different turnkey offerings just because right now it's definitely more money than time and experience. So I've just been, I'm on several different lists for those and just kind of walking through the offerings that are sent. Trying to get, my wife has now been working at home and she's getting a little bit more interested. And I thought maybe we could pair this up because you've got a little bit more time to do that type of the active part of it. And then I can be more advised. We can also learn together and turn it into more of a family type thing.
Cool. All righty. So who's up? Let's see. David? Can't hear you, David.
Can't hear you, man.
Oh, there you are.
Looks good with the good background.
David, you want to introduce yourself?
That coming through.
Let's come back to David. For some reason, his isn't
All right.
coming off mute.
All right. Oh, what am I doing? Lorenzo?
Lorenzo Martinez, still doing research, starting out, working on my first deal right now. Just trying to learn, get my feet wet, like I said, and I don't know, all this COVID and all this other stuff going on. Been pretty good because I've been able to attend meetings I probably wouldn't normally be able to attend. So it's been pretty good, getting exposed to different ideas from different people. So I like that. That's me.
Where are you looking? Or Lorenzo, you're looking in San Antonio area or?
Right now I'm actually working on a deal in Alpine just because I'm here for work. So yeah, but I've been looking all over the place: Del Rio, San Antonio, Uvalde. I live close to Uvalde, so just kind of staying local where I know.
Cool. All right.
David, are you back, David?
I'm trying. Can you hear me?
There he is.
Okay, there you go.
There we go. Awesome. Yeah. So my name is David Mates, and I'm a realtor here in San Antonio with Keller Williams. Started going to the meetup, but maybe about September of 2019. Really just interested in getting to know the market. My parents have done a few flips and a few projects here locally, and so I'm looking to be that resource for family and friends who want to do some projects. So,
Are you doing any other marketing besides for your real estate, for your realtor stuff?
the biggest thing I'm doing is really just my personal network, family and friends, whether I knew you at church or through school, by any means really necessary. I do a lot of social media as well. Just trying to use what I have. And we lucked out a few months ago. We sold, my parents had a fix and flip from a family member that wanted to sell their house. And so we just routinely reaching out to some friends and family who have properties they may not want, and kind of just gauging what they're up to and what they plan to do with it.
Yeah. And that's great. That's the easiest, cheapest, and safest way. People you already know, you're just, I do deeds for people sometimes. If they're saying, yeah, I'm selling my house to my cousin, can you do a deed for me? Sure, I'll do a deed for you. And, the attorney's going to charge $150, $250. I'll charge you $50. Or yeah, if it's a real close friend or something, I'll do it for free. And that's just for them. It's like, oh my God, thank you so much. And then that gives me the 15 seconds to give them my speech that if you know anybody who needs to get out of their house, have them call me. I buy houses. This is what I do. And, you know, you on and on and on. And so, yeah, that's great. Talking to all family, friends, any kind of networking, volunteer work, anything else you can do. Yeah, that's great to get your name out there and let them know that you're the man. You're the one to talk to about real estate.
Yeah, all the relationships, right?
Yeah.
I try to build those.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, cool. Did anybody have any questions or anything before we get to 7 o'clock and we get to the actual meeting? Anything that you're working on, need help with, or crazy story or something going on?
Question maybe for the group, anybody taking advantage of the opportunity to punch into some of your retirement funds early without penalty?
No, I haven't looked at that yet, but it would be interesting. What is the actual retrieval right now for that?
I think you can take up to 100K out, and you have up to 3 years to pay it back into your retirement account without even taxes being due on it. And then if you decide to keep it, where normally you'd have a 10% penalty, you can waive the 10% penalty. So you can do it from an IRA or a 401k, and depending on your situation, you may be able to do it from both if you have both, or if you have a spouse that has one and you have one. So some folks that are looking at early retirement or trying to balance out until they hit full retirement age are looking at that as a good opportunity to get access to some funds to invest. But it's something we aren't planning on doing, but is definitely something that is a unique opportunity with the kind of current situation. So just trying to collect thoughts on that.
Yeah, I might have to look into it more because I was just thinking mine's still, if with the old company 401k, I was just going to roll it into a self-directed. But that's definitely an interesting option.
Yeah. Nick, you got any thoughts?
Well, normally
you're
I
a
would.
young man, but
That is not my strength. I think my only thought is knowing all your options is really smart. And if that's where you have your money and you can use that to win in the current situation and without penalty, that might be a great opportunity to take advantage of that. I just don't know enough about it, so I would be super hesitant to give much of an opinion because I feel like I wouldn't be giving real good advice, you know?
What else?
I
Any
want to
other?
hear about you walking that house with Joseph. Joseph, can you share kind of what was that?
Wow.
I'm on the email list for New Western. They always look ridiculous. I hated to bust his bubble, but tell me, how did it go?
Yeah. So he didn't tell me it was New Western to begin with, or else I would have told him right then, just stop. But he said, "Hey, you want to go walk with property with me?" Yeah, sure.
So he reached out to you. Okay, yeah. Cool.
And so yeah, we went out there, and as soon as the guy showed up, I thought, this guy's got to be one of the two. But the house was kind of leaning. We walked inside, and oh my God, it was just so bad that I couldn't. I felt really, really bad for the people living there. It was just horrid conditions, and they were walking. Okay, so here's the kitchen. Well, there weren't cabinets. There was like some plywood that was kind of put together, and it was just, everything was rotten. It had been there for years and years and years, and it was just bad.
Oh,
And I said, you know what? I said, we need to go now. I said, this is a tear down. This is not, let's just go. And he's like, well, where's the other bedroom? And I just was like, okay, I'm gonna go wait outside. I'll be outside. And he was like, what? And I was like, I'll be outside. Plus it smelled like weed in there really bad. You walked in and I was like, it's like, hey, who's smoking over here? What's going on? So anyway, they looked around and I kind of peeked my head into the bathroom and it was even worse. And I just said, I said, let's just go. And I don't even remember the price. It was 60 something like that. And I said, man, it's like 0.07 or 0.08 acres, which is tiny to begin with. And he was saying, okay, so if we knock it down, what can we do? Can we put a 2-story? Can we put, and I said,
he was trying. He was trying. Where was it? Was it north, south, east,
on
west?
Hackberry.
Okay.
In Hackberry, just east of the Alamo Dome. So the location was good.
Okay, yeah.
It was just tiny. It was, and it was right close to the street. And then we saw Betty. We're talking right outside the house.
Did not.
And then there was and then Ricky. And I was like, what? I said, oh, that was Betty driving by.
That is awesome. Well, I thought that was so cool that you went and walked it with them. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. And we talked a little bit afterwards. So it was good. So I told him, I said, when it's net worth or New Western, you might want to.
You don't know. I hear people find stuff from them, so I didn't want to say no, but.
Yeah. And they have some stuff sometimes. But yeah, that one was just, it was
That's
tear
awful.
down. I rarely say it's a tear down, but that definitely was.
Oh, wow.
Definitely was.
That's like there's call Nick and then there's tear down.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think of Nick. It was like, no.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And by the way, David, Lorenzo, Chris, Nick buys the smaller, the uglier.
They're special
homes. He does buy special homes.
You find one that you're like, absolutely nobody will buy this, probably ought to shoot me a text.
That's great.
Got
That's
a chance.
Got a chance.
And you know what? And
Most
also,
of them I do.
I'm gonna put my name and number on here on the chat. And if you want to do that also, so we'll have it 639-0600. And I think you can get, Nick, you tell me, you get the notes from, you get the chat notes, right? When you record?
Yes.
Okay. So everybody will have everybody's number on here. So if you talk to somebody or somebody said something, you want to follow up with them later, you definitely can. But I even bought one from Nick. The guy's still paying good.
Making money. That was nice. That was a nice place. Just wasn't mine.
You didn't see it afterwards, did you?
I saw pictures.
Okay. Yeah, that was, man, that guy put up a big 2-car commercial looking garage in the front yard, kind of off to the side.
There you go.
Took away the deck, redid it, it's a huge garage. I mean, tall, like a Winnebago kind of tall. And so he put some money in there.
There you go. Tell him to keep adding money to it.
Yeah.
That way he'll keep paying.
Yeah. He's got 3.5 more years on the balloon, so.
See how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, and that one, it's still in the seller's name. She called me a couple days ago. She said, hey, I just wanted to let you know that the mobile's still in my name. She said, of course, I'm not going to keep it, but you might want to change it over. And I said, oh, my God. I said, okay. I thought he fixed it already, but yeah, I guess we'll fix it later on.
I guess you'll figure it out.
Yeah, the land's in his name, but
Yeah.
the mobile's still in her name. So crazy. But oh well. So what's one of the worst houses you've bought recently, Nick?
Yeah, the house on Bronco is a pretty bad house. That was the one where I missed the plumbing. That was the first time we had a hog. So I've seen lots of cats, dogs. Rick and I ran into a donkey one time on South Side. That is a true story at a house. And this one, we're going to see it and come out of the house like a legit like hog. Like I would have taken a shot at it if we're, comes just running out. Apparently he's still there. He's just hanging around. The backyard's a big lot. It was just been just left for whatever, and whoever was staying there, the new residents, they just moved all kind of everything they could find in there. And so that was pretty rough once we got it cleaned out, and just everything, like 100% had to go. So got a good price, so it'll still work, but it was pretty rough. That was probably my most special one recently. I have to think about it. Other than that, man, things have slowed down a little bit. Like I haven't bought as many houses. But I think they're still there. It's just, I think we have a better chance now that kind of everybody kind of settled into things. But it's been a little slower than I like. It's always a little slower than I like, but it's been slower than I like.
Yeah. David, have you seen any people, or what have you heard from people as far as what they're thinking or wanting to do, or are they unsure, or what's kind of the feel of the folks out there?
Yeah, so for the most part, they really fall in three buckets. Like I'm sure a lot of us have kind of gauged. You have the investor type who are on the sidelines and kind of waiting for the bottom to fall out so they can pounce in, or kind of really just gauging to see what happens. And then I have a lot of my peers who would like to make their first home purchase, but again, they're waiting because they may not feel security about their employment or about the economy or about what's happening. So a lot of them are having some soul searching right now, debating whether they should make that purchase or continue renting. It just so happens a lot of them are coming up on the end of their leases, this month or, around October. And so right now we're having these one-on-ones, kind of figuring out their situation, figuring out, what we can do, and, just the new requirements with lending as well. And then you have, just those who just want to rent, and they just want to kind of just, hide under a rock and just rent and just wait this thing out. So, obviously, being a realtor, you get paid commissions for the home sales. And so, the ones that seem to have the stable employment and have the cash reserves, I'm kind of easing those fears, saying, hey, you seem like a good candidate. Honestly, I regret not being aggressive enough when the pandemic just started, because it seemed like the serious buyers were out there, and a lot of the competition kind of fell by the wayside. And when things kind of lifted, you see the competitiveness with the offers and the multiple offer situations. And so I kind of kick myself for not being as aggressive during that first, wave. But that's really what I'm seeing, just as back and forth of, is the economy stable, or is my employment stable, or what should I do? Kind of really just caught in between go.
Yeah. Well, it's about 7:00, so I guess we can go ahead and start the questions. Oh, and there comes somebody else now too. Let's see. What else is coming? Kent Holmes coming in. So we'll give you a quick second here to go ahead and introduce yourself right before we start the meeting here. So go ahead and unmute yourself there, Kent, and jump on in.
All right. Hey, how goes it, everybody? Rick, how goes it, man?
Doing good, doing good.
All right, good to see you. Yeah, I'm Kent Williams, multifamily investor here in San Antonio, looking for buy and hold properties, any side of town. Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
And what part of town are you in?
So I'm located on the far west side of town, over here close to Castroville. But yeah, I'm looking all over. I own a few in this side of town, and I have one out in the Pleasanton area as well. And then we got a single family over by Lackland as well. So yeah, so I don't discriminate. Wherever the deals may lead, you'll find me. So yeah, absolutely.
All right. And I was kind of asking everybody else also. Are you doing any marketing, or how are you looking for deals?
So originally, I was big on the whole bandit sign thing. That kind of got old, getting up early in the morning, going out and putting them up after they take them down. As of late, I've been leaning towards the email campaigns, whatnot, and just kind of, buying a list and just mailing them out myself and whatnot. In addition to that, just word of mouth and just, letting everyone know that I come in contact with that, hey, I do buy properties, regardless of the condition. So, yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I was just telling David that's what I do. Try to tell everybody I can who I am, what I do. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Word of mouth. You can never go wrong with word of mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
Absolutely.
Well, all right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So I'm gonna ask Nick. Well, we're both gonna answer a few questions, and then we can. If you have questions or something, if you want to put your name, number down in the chat area, and,
Okay.
so everybody will have it. And then between me and Nick answering some questions, and then and then if you have another question or something, just either jump in or type it in the chat.
Got it.
There we go. So Nick, how has COVID changed your business in the last 4 or 5 months since we've kind of been on lockdown and then kind of opening up? And so how's your business changed? Or has it changed?
It's definitely changed, mostly because the number of leads has decreased, which affects one side of the business. The other biggest change is because, for everybody that doesn't know, I believe in the buy and hold long term. So I have notes and then also the rentals. And then with the payments coming in for the first month, everything went surprisingly well. But we're going to have some problems, but not being able to foreclose, right? Not being able to evict people has really changed the business. And it also changes where I would buy stuff with a tenant in it sometimes. I'd have to get it for almost free right now to buy it with a tenant occupied property, especially if that tenant refuses to leave, because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get them out. So those are probably the two biggest changes that I've seen.
Okay. And and for me, not a whole lot has changed, but like you said, I'm looking at a project on the west side, and there's some broken windows. I don't even know if the doors work. They're always open, and there's people in there. And we told the owner, we said, they got to be out. They got to be out. And if we have to delay it, we're going to delay it till we're sure they're out. They got to put up boards on the windows. They got to board up the doors if they have to make sure they stay out. Because, I don't want a tenant in there and then might not be able to evict them. Might have to go old school and just walk in there, everybody holding a shotgun or something. And, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right?
And I think right now you really got to think about that, because there was, people can hold out for a long time if they know how to play the game, especially right now.
Yeah. So I'm
sorry to interrupt. Do either one of you guys see some type of legislation or something benefiting property owners coming down the pipeline at any point for, situations like that? Or
well, the evictions are open right now. The eviction court and foreclosures for July did not happen. for August, I'm not sure. I think they were going to stop them. Yeah.
It did not happen. So that went down to like, it was the day before that they finally called it. Now, Bexar County is the only major county in Texas. I buy at the auction, so I was looking to purchase and foreclose on some notes. The only major county in Texas that did not have a foreclosure auction. They're not having it because you can't. They're not having it because you can't foreclose. They're not having it because of the crowd of people. One side I can understand that. On another side, you look at Harris County, which is Houston, is way bigger than Bexar County, and they're making it work. Dallas makes it work. Everybody else is making it work, but we're stopping ours. So, and as far as the legislation piece, I do not see it. I'm on your side. I wish it was there, but you also, it's going to take some politicians to back up the real estate investor with that, and they're not getting a whole lot of votes for that. They're getting a lot more votes for maybe helping somebody else out. So you can figure out how to do it. I'm on your side. I'll sign the paper, but I don't see anything happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of the biggest thing for me too. When there's a tenant in there, I kind of don't want to do it. I want to make sure they're out and everything's cleared out and ready to go for me to start the rehab and start doing what I'm going to do. But as far as marketing, kind of the same, just trying to put my name out there. I'm not getting too conservative with price or anything. I am looking at more, I'm asking everybody, every deal, can you owner finance without actually saying owner finance? But I'm always asking everybody, so you have a mortgage. Okay, well, you want me to pay it all off, right? Yeah. Well, I can't give you the price you want and give you a cash offer. If you want the price that you want, I got to take over your payments and then maybe give you a mortgage, a second mortgage, or do something like that. And I'll pay you off within a year. And that way I can rehab it and not have to go get financing and pay some points and origination fees and everything else. But that's kind of, I think that was a little bit before COVID. That was kind of last year sometime that I was just trying to think of other ways. How can I get a higher price for the people and beat out these other people who are paying ridiculous amounts for these properties? Because even cash offers were coming in at, 80% of ARV, and there were still some repairs that needed to be done. So I thought, well, I got to beat some people out. So how do I do it? And for me, it was asking other questions. Well, do you need all the money right now? Can I give you a couple thousand now and some payments and then in a year pay you off, or within a year? So that's a few little things that I've been doing. So, so what do you see happening, Nick, in the near future, in the next 3-4 months, 6 months?
As hesitant as I am, because I don't know that anybody knows, but my 2 cents is there is no choice but if people have not paid for the foreclosures to pick up. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to run down. I am going to go to the auction, but it doesn't mean you have to run down to the auction and buy there, right? Because it does have a ripple effect. So I think that will put some opportunity back in the market. Where I've already seen it happening, and I think will continue to happen, is lending is tightening up. And when that happens, again, it has a ripple effect. It's going to be a little harder, so there's less people that have money in the market. So if you have access to capital or you have your own capital, I think that in maybe 6 months or so, there might be a little more opportunity for you. And at least it will take out some of those people when there was easier access to capital. I think that is probably the 2 things I feel really confident that I think are going to happen.
So I know David had mentioned that the lending standards have tightened up a little bit. I've heard that. I don't get regular mortgages. I have friends and family who usually put out money. So I haven't had a job in years, so yeah, I can't go to a bank and get a mortgage. So I just asked somebody, hey, let me 80,000. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I don't know about all that stuff. I think as the mortgage or the foreclosures are starting to come back around, and hopefully we start having them again, there'll be more houses on the market. I don't know when I guess if the banks start giving notices or saying, hey, you need to start paying now, I would think in the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months that more foreclosures should be happening. That's my thought. I don't know if it will come to pass. I don't have an economics degree. I have a finance degree, but just seeing so many people that have been out of work and not paying their mortgage, and I mean, it's just got to happen. It just seems like it has to happen. There's going to be some more foreclosures coming up. And then also with the foreclosures, evictions are going to happen also. And we have 5, 6 mortgages, and everybody's paid. Nobody has mentioned anything. That might be because I talk to my people quite a bit. I did reach out to them, send everybody a text real quick, and hey, is everything okay? How you doing? Is everything all right? And I got a couple phone calls. Hey, yeah, no, we're good. Everything's good. Yeah, don't worry. We're going to give you the payment, and we want to stay here. Okay, great. All right. Just want to make sure. So we haven't had any issues on the foreclosure side, or that potentially foreclosures. Nick, have you had any people not paying rent or mortgage or?
Yeah, I held my breath, especially the first couple of months, because I didn't know what was going to happen. For the most part, I really believe most people are good people and they want to pay their bills, and they would try to do it. As it's going on, and some of them, we've had more people that have fallen behind. Some of that, it is justified. Like I had a lady send me her letter. She works in a hotel, and they literally, the letter was from Holiday Inn saying she should have a job. So if we can work with her, absolutely. I would rather work with her. There are a couple of those less than great people who figured out the situation and are choosing to take advantage of it. At this point, we're kind of stuck on those. It's very frustrating, but for the most part, people are trying. Some people, reached out, they were able to get some other assistance. But as a small business owner, there's no choice. Like, we are not getting the assistance that people are getting from the government. And so people are not paying their rents and their mortgages. We don't have a choice but to take them out of the property and put somebody else in. So it's going to happen. Like you said, it will happen. Just a matter when they turn it loose.
Yeah. And that's just like, you probably have like you said, you have some folks, as soon as you can, you're going to get them out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be others. And some people want to pay and can't pay, and they're going to get thrown out too. So yeah, some are going to go with family, but some are going to go, well, I think a lot of them are going to go to family and, with a sister, brother, or with mom or dad or something like that. So there'll be a little consolidation there. So there'll be a little less need, I guess, for some housing. And as you mentioned before, there'll be a little bit of a ripple effect. It'll kind of go through, and it might start at the lower level and then go a little higher, a little higher, a little higher. And also, I think just the higher end properties are going to be a little tougher because people aren't going to be, they're not going to need that $4,000 or $5,000 a month place here in San Antonio, at least. They might say, well, we don't need to spend $4,000. Let's spend $3,000 instead. And then again, it kind of trickles down a little bit. Let's see what else. So what do you see happening in the extended future in the next year or 2 years? Again, we're not we're seasoned professionals, not licensed professionals. But
Yeah, and I think we can only talk about our thoughts. Right? I really believe that the ripple effect that comes from the lending is going to affect a lot of people, especially on the real estate. And I do deal with a lot of small, not a lot, but several small local banks. And so I talk to them a lot about where are they lending, where's banking in general lending, and then when they tell me, obviously we're not doing hotels. Great. I totally understand. Everybody can kind of wrap your head around that. But they also say we're really shying away is from multifamily because, and their reason that I was given is these big multifamily projects. Okay, well, most of the time they have lower rents. And so the people have jobs that are more likely to be furloughed and they're let go. And then by default, they can't pay. So by default of that, the bank doesn't want to lend on these larger multi-family projects. And I thought that was interesting because I did not think about it like that until they kind of educated me. That money not being in the economy, in the real estate investing space, really is going to draw back on a lot of things. A lot of the hard money lenders will be gone. You'll see some of the core guys stay. And it will become more difficult when you don't have relationships with certain lenders. So if I have a 10-year relationship with some smaller banks and some lenders, even if Kent is a better, like financially on paper, they're still going to lend to me because they have the relationship with me and they know me, even though he's better. Like if you just put them side by side, because they're trying to not so much make money, but make their risk zero. So they're trying to get zero risk more than they're trying to get a higher interest. And that effect is just going to go, I think that just rolls into a lot of other things because that money's not in the economy. So how does that affect other things? And I really believe in that ripple effect. That was a long answer. Sorry about that, Rick. But
no.
I really believe that all that's going to happen. And that's what I think.
And you think foreclosure is going to still, well, I guess start to ramp up in the next 6 months, year, and then as more foreclosures come out, they're just going to be a little bit lower prices?
I think so. I feel very confident that within the next few months, there's going to be more foreclosures because these businesses have to foreclose on these properties that are not bringing in any income. There's just no choice. And a lot of even the big banks that had the 6 month, well, I forget what it's called, but 6 months where they couldn't, right? A lot of them, the rule wasn't that you had to add those payments onto the end. Okay, you all of a sudden come and say, hey, Rick, it's been your 6 months. Now you owe us all 7 payments, or this month's in the last. Guy hasn't been working. He cannot make those payments to Bank of America. There's no money. So I really think it's going to increase, and I think it's going to take a while for that to
play out,
to pan out. I think there will be opportunities for real estate investors. That's what I think.
I just saw a big post, and the guy was saying that how, he was kind of doomsday, kind of everything, prices are going down 50%, and sky is falling, and I'm waiting, and next year is when I'm gonna start doing something. I'm not planning on waiting. I'm still doing what I'm doing. Like I said, I'm getting a little more conservative, a little more leery when there's somebody in the house already. If they're on Social Security and they've been there in the house 10 years, they're probably going to be there next year. So that's okay. But somebody just moved in 3 months ago or 6 months ago, yeah, I kind of want them out, or let's wait till the end of the lease or something. But yeah, I think, and I've been kind of thinking for the last year, 2 years, that things are gonna, it's just a cycle. Things have got to change a little. People are stressed out or they're stretched out on their rent payments. Some of it because they're just trying to live in too nice of a place and they really shouldn't be paying that much. But some rents are just kind of too high. And like you were saying about the apartments, and if the apartments want to raise their rent $100 every time lease comes up, and it can only go on for so long with incomes not going up as much. And yeah, I think rents are going to slow down. They might even pull back a little bit. Prices might come down a little bit. I don't think there's going to be 50%. I don't think there's going to be 25%. But
I think, yeah, agreement.
yeah, I do see some more foreclosures coming, a lot more evictions, cap rates going up a little bit on multifamily. That's always the thing. A buddy of mine works for a Broadway bank. He's the VP of commercial lending. And he says, a couple of years ago, he said they have like buckets for different types of properties. Like you said, hotels. He said, no hotels. We're not doing any, La Quinta kind of properties or the Days Inn and that kind of stuff. He says, no, we're not doing any of those. So that was a few years ago. Multifamily, they were not doing them probably about 2 years ago. He said, our bucket's full. He said, we have some strip centers, some new builds on multifamily, some new builds on strip centers and office buildings and some other things. But they were already pulling back a couple of years ago on their multifamily. And the thing is, they're usually 5-year, 7-year loans. So 2-3 years ago, they already knew, hey, things are slowing down. Things are going to happen. The market, the cycle is going to change. We're getting close to the top. So it's time to pull back a little bit. And like you said, they want to keep their risk as low as possible. They want to just keep making their money, whether it's 3%, 5%, 7%. They just want to keep making the money. They don't want to take something back and then it really throws everything off. So I know they have pulled back on multifamily, and I need to give them a call. Maybe we'll have them on the meeting next time and see what they're doing, see what else they're doing over there. But let's see what else. So what are you going to do different, let's say next year or in 2 years, or what are you trending to for the next year or two? What do you see yourself doing more of, or?
And I don't know that it's so much COVID related. Right now, my business, I'm really focused on trying to differentiate myself as far as on the online marketing, and then increasing the content. Anybody who knows me, I'm not the social media type thing. It's just not my strength. But it's something that I'm trying to, I guess I tried for a long time to ignore or pretend like I didn't need to do it. So creating more quality content, answering more quality questions, whether if it's real estate investors have questions or seller questions, really putting out good things like that. And increasing the footprint along with my marketing. And then, have built up or will have built up the rental portfolio quite a bit by the end of this year. And then until I see more answers on how things are going to go, I want to take some chunks out of that debt, and really look to turn some properties, wholesale some properties, flip, more than we've done this year and at the end of last year, and just cut into that more just because it needs to happen anyway, and it reduces the risk. That's probably where I'm going to take it. And I think along with kind of some stuff that you mentioned earlier, if you have the opportunity to establish relationships for private lending, absolutely need to do that right now, because you don't know where the money's going to come from. And at least for my business, I know it's two things. It's deals and money. It's always deals and money. Whatever I boil it down to is deals and money. It was 10 years ago and it is still today. So when we find the deals, where are you going to find the capital to do that? So I think if you have the opportunity to build relationships to get private money, it's really, really smart to work on those right now.
Yeah. Like I was telling you earlier, I need to get my blog back going again. Kind of just got busy with everyday life and kind of got away from it. And yours will be the first one, the guest blog post.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
because you handed it to me, and I kind of went, gosh, I really don't want to do this.
It's all right. We'll get it there.
But yeah, I have it loaded up, and I just need to clean it up and get it rolling. But in the next couple of weeks, it'll be up and running. And so yeah, I definitely want to do that some more. I kind of think that the wholesaling, the flipping that a lot of people have been doing in the last like 5 years, it was so easy. It was too easy. You know, a friend of mine from USAA, she tells me, "Hey, I got a guy. He's here at my office, and he said he wanted to flip houses." So I talked to him for a few minutes, and then all of a sudden he bought a house. Oh yeah, I made 20,000. Oh yeah, and then before you know it, oh man, I got another one. And a few months later, yeah, I made 30,000. Great, yeah. And I thought, wow, this guy just kind of jumped in and he's making money. And okay, well, good for him. But when it's that easy for somebody to jump in, that's when I kind of start thinking, it's going to slowly change. And it seems like it's kind of the end of the time. I've already seen, like, in what is it, east of downtown? What's that? Denver Heights. I've seen a lot of people. I've seen a lot of when you look on Realtor.com, you see the little down arrows that they've lowered the price, and I go click on it, and it'll say 130 days and 150 days, and a lot of days on market. It seems like there's a lot of people have bought stuff that they just thought, oh my God, I'm going to sell it for $350, and it's okay if it's 1,000 square feet, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. That's what I should sell it for. I'm going to make $80,000, and they're not doing it. And there's more and more and more people getting into that situation. And so that kind of shows me that it's turning, and it had been turning. I mean, even at the end of last year, I saw a lot of Denver Heights, especially. But I think some of those folks are going to go away. So, I mean, I'm going to keep marketing and keep doing my thing. But I think there's going to be a lot more space, a lot more elbow room. There's going to be not many people. So I don't think you're going to have to really compete as much anymore, because they're going to call somebody and, oh, well, the number's disconnected. Oh, yeah, they never call me back. And then they get to you, and it's like, oh, wow, you answered the phone. Oh, okay, you called me back. Oh, okay, well, yeah, well, here's what and you got the deal, because a lot of other people just kind of disappeared, or they went back to their teaching job or whatever job. And I think a lot of people are going to disappear. And it happened in 2007. It happened to me. I mean, I was doing some rehabs and making some good money, and I thought, oh crap, I rehabbed and now I can't rehab. I got to go find a job. And now, there's a million other things we can do. I'm doing some contracting for people. I even cut Todd's some trees at Todd's house. I sweated my ass off for a few hours there, but yeah, I made a couple $100, and
That was so impressive. That was the best couple $100 I've spent. That was awesome.
It should have been $350 instead of $250, right?
Friends and family, man.
But that gets my exercise, and I did something. I got a little sun on my legs and everything, and
And it was awesome for us to have taken care of like that. That was a huge help. I mean, that was really good. Thank you very much.
So helped some friends out, made some money, got some sun, got some exercise, So I'm doing a little contracting here and there, not just with that, but some friends doing some rehabs. Like Betty had told me, she says, "Yeah, I'm the GC. I have my crews. I have all my plumbers, electricians, and everybody anyway. So why not just do it for somebody else? Let them take the risk." And I think she said she was making like $1,000 for about a month's worth of work. And $1,000, not a whole lot, but when you think about it, a rehab doesn't take a whole lot of time. It's checking on them a few times a week, making sure that everybody's going in the right direction, doing what they need to do. And so that's, get a couple of those going. You get a few thousand a month coming in. And so it's, I'm doing a little bit of that. I had a buddy of mine, he found a house. He said he was going to do it. He wanted to keep it as a rental. And I said, great, I'll help you do it. And so I helped him, with the negotiation, with getting it to closing. And he's going to be closing in a couple weeks. And so again, there was $1,000. And there's going to be some paint, some carpet, probably some changing of the valves, the bathroom, probably the cartridges on the showers, and a few little things. And then that'll be another little bit of money too, probably $500, $1,000. So I'm still doing my rehabs and trying to get some owner financing, trying to do some other things, but also just doing some rehabs or doing some contracting. The person says, I'm buying this house. Great. Okay. You're not asking me, you're buying it. Okay. I want to do this, this, and this. Can you help me do it? Yes, I can. So no risk for me. I'm just going to do what they want me to do. And, I'll subcontract some of the work. I'll do a little bit of the work. Got friends with trucks and trailers and all kinds of fun tools. So, so I'll be doing a little bit of that too. So I guess that's kind of how I'll be pivoting a little bit. Just kind of pulling out more tools, I guess, from the toolbox. Looking for more ways to find the deals and buy the deals, and with the owner financing or private lending or however. And then also when my wife's over here, she would always get mad at me. She's like, man, you're sitting at home, you're gaining weight. I thought you were working on the house. Well, yeah, I got 2 houses going. I got 2 rehabs going. And she's like, yeah, but you're sitting at home all day. You need to get out and do something else. Like, well, yeah, okay. So I thought, yeah, why not get out there and work a little bit too. So what else? I'm gonna have to go plug in the other room here real quick. But what other thoughts, Todd?
I'm looking at the chat. I saw there's a question in here. Have you ever dabbled in lease options? And I think in the state of Texas, you need to be careful. And I'm not your attorney, so you can do almost anything. But when you write an actual lease option, they used to be a lot easier to do. They are not as easy to do now. So I have stayed away from them. We've done some things where we rented the property and they put a bigger deposit down, and we told them, like, look, if you want to buy it later, we'll sell you this house. We can sell it on finance or however we want it. When you write an actual lease option and it's written like that in the contract, there's a lot of rules you have to follow. And it's really, really hard to follow all the rules. When I first looked at them and compared it to a deal that I'd done, it was like 16 rules you had to follow. I think I accidentally broke 14 of them. So it's true. Like I wasn't trying, like I thought I was doing everything right. We didn't have a problem. I was just looking back at the deal. So is that an issue? No. If everybody's happy and everybody's cruising along, it's not a problem. When you get that one person who's mad and get somebody to come argue, they're really easy to tear apart. And if you ever had to go to court with one, you're probably going to lose. So I would maybe look at another way to structure a similar deal to that, where it wasn't written exactly like a lease option.
Yeah, I had heard specifics that you couldn't do a sandwich lease option in Texas, but yeah, I didn't delve any further. That same type of complexity, right? Like, what is it worth the hassle? But it seemed like, especially because I was in California before, and even in California, they didn't even have that regulation. So it was something, and especially when you're talking about the opportunities to compete with cash offers and some of these other things where you could go in potentially closer to what the market price is and still get away to control the property until you get rid of it. So
yeah, when people want a lot closer to retail, what I usually do is tell them, you know what, I have a couple of great realtors. I can refer you to
Right.
them. I just don't like to compete. Um, if me and Nick are both looking at a property, it's like, we'll probably look at each other and go, well, you want it? And he'll probably say, I don't know. Do you want it? We don't want to fight because he's going to say, well, I'll give you 30. Well, I'll give you 32. Well, I'll give you 34. I'll give you 38. I'll give you 50. Nobody's going to win. Well, we're not going to win. Me and him aren't going to win. The seller's going to win. And, if they wanted 50 to begin with, just tell them to call a realtor. I like to be firm on my number and say, you know what, if it's 30, it's 30, and that's it. If somebody says 32, okay, well, go with them. Come back to me if they don't close, but I'm still going to be at 30. So, but yeah, when they get too high, when they start wanting too much, yeah. But if they're willing to lease for a year, and then they're going to sell it, maybe they'll be okay with owner financing it. Maybe do a wraparound mortgage. That might be, they're going to be paying their mortgage, or maybe you pay their mortgage and then pay them the $100 or $200 difference. And if it's a wraparound, then, it's your house. Then you can go lease it out and no problems. Or you can wrap around a wraparound. That could happen too. I know I did a lease with option, but it was back in 04, 05 maybe. Oh my God, it was the craziest thing because the people thought that their $5,000 deposit, well, they thought it was a deposit, even though I had two separate agreements. One was an option and one was a lease. And I told them 50 times and had them sign and everything. You are not getting this $5,000 back. You're putting $5,000 down. It's going towards the purchase in a year when you buy the house. If you don't buy the house, you're out of luck. You're not getting this $5,000 back. And they moved out in a year. No, we can't buy after all. And they cleaned the house, spotless. They said, okay, do you need my address, or are you going to cut me a check right now? For what? For the money, for my $5,000. No, I told you. So sure enough, a couple weeks later, an attorney called me, and he says, yeah, I'm working for Mr. Whoever and about his property and getting his money back. And I said, you know what? Let me send you our documents. And he said, oh my God, that's great. That's what I was looking for. And yeah, send them to me. Sent them over. He called me back and he said, hey, sorry to bother you. I won't be calling anymore. Because we had separate agreements, but it just, a lot of times if the people are not going to buy the house, they're not going to go through with it, and it's going to be a big hassle. But if you're on the buying side, I would just do a wraparound mortgage. That'd probably be the easiest thing. So what else? There questions, thoughts, ideas?
I had a question, guys.
Yeah.
There's when it comes to driving for dollars, it's something I like to do, like a lot of us start off doing. I've noticed, man, to be honest, there's been about 4 different properties in areas that either near my home or near family and friends that I've kind of scouted, and sure enough, you see all the telltale signs, you see the tall grass or maybe some of the notes on the door or whatnot. How do you go about finding or actually contacting the owner of the house or getting more helpful information about it besides, the Bexar County Appraisal District, as to, because a lot of times I'll see these, maybe the last 4 or 5 of these houses, and sure enough, maybe 2 to 3 weeks later, I'm kicking myself because I'll see a for rent or for sale sign. And it's almost like, man, it fit all the profile of, of what could have been a deal possibly. But what do you guys, is there a resource you guys tend to lean on for information?
Well, I can tell you if I'm out driving, I, of course, knock on the door. It looks like nobody's there. You never know. Sometimes there's people living there. But if they're not there, of course, I write down the address, pull it up on BCAD when I get home. But I'll ask the neighbors. I knock on each side, left and right, and then I'll go across the street. And I ask the neighbors, hey, do you know the people that live here or lived here? And they usually know their neighbors. And they'll say, oh, yeah, she's in a nursing home now. Okay, that's probably not a help, but all right, at least I know. And if it says that they still live there on BCAD, I'll send a letter there, hoping that it'll get forwarded somewhere else. And if I don't get it back, well, I'm going to trust that it got forwarded and they saw it. I know people do skip tracing. I mean, you can get phone numbers that way. I haven't done it. I don't do it. I have a couple of guys who, they do some bird dogging on their own, and they do it, and they call a whole bunch of numbers every day. But I kind of do the old school. I talk to the neighbors. Somebody's got to know somebody. Somebody's got to know them. Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I think it never hurts to drop a letter, right? Because you're talking about, 50, 60 cents. But where I would challenge you on what you just said, you said they live by me or they live by friends and family. Okay? I'm going to go out on a limb, and you didn't ask your friends and family about that house, right? You didn't ask them if they know the neighbors, right? And if you had somebody in that area that, where all your cousins or aunts live, they know somebody that knows somebody, or you know what? No, I don't, but I know the neighbor really well. Hey, can we go talk to him? Yeah, right. And so what you did is you found a house that looked like it had all the potential, but you didn't take the other 3 steps, which could have got the deal. So I would probably challenge you to think a little past it. Like, where's everybody going to stop? And let me do a couple more steps. And then so try to talk to all the people around the deal or all the people around your neighborhood. Because people love to tell you what they know. Love it. So keep asking, and somebody knows them, and they'd probably be happy to tell you, which is, would be my thought.
Yeah, with a few of the homes I did ask, and to be honest, a lot of my family, they're real secluded. Like, hey, I don't talk to me. I'm home. They're not the real neighborly type. But yeah, I definitely could have followed up. I do like Rick's approach. When I first got started, man, to be honest, about 7 months in real estate, I was door knocking every day, and it maybe did for about a month. I got a few leads here and there, but then the whole COVID thing came out, and so I haven't gone back out to do that. I don't necessarily know if it's frowned upon or not. I have folks who come to my door, and I'm kind of like, hey, what are you doing here? Still trying to be mindful. I have a 5-year-old, and we're still really cautious about what we do. But honestly, that's a great point you make, to really get out there and kind of know, because in my own neighborhood, I know you always have that chatty guy on the neighborhood and on the block who knows everybody or who sees everything, And so definitely, in case I happen to come across a deal, I would love to maybe send it you guys, you or Nick's way for sure.
Yeah, definitely. If it's east side, Nick wants it.
I like the east side. I like the west side, south side, north side. I like all the sides.
Yeah, he's done some that are special, as he says.
Special, Rick. I've done a lot of them, but you said earlier, I don't know if I know a deal and hit me in the face. You might not, but don't be hard on yourself. Nobody does when you start, right? I think I got $14,000 for a house on Fair Avenue when I first started. Why do I remember that? Because this is a ridiculous offer. I was so scared that dude was going to say yes. I was like, what? And I'm like, all right, I'll just say 14,000. He'll throw me out. He's like, can I ask my sister? In my head, I'm thinking, no, because what if she says yes? First of all, I don't have $14,000. 2, I don't know what to do with this house. You're not supposed to know what's going on when you start, because nobody does, man. Hustle, people that are motivated, that need your help, and it smells like a deal, and then connect with somebody that can help you with that. And you'll figure out how to do it. Just keep going. And if it's a deal, there'll be a way to put it together where everybody wins.
Yeah, it's crazy. My second deal was on the east side. It was on Bluebonnet Street, and it was a pre foreclosure. They owed like 12,000. They had been paying on it for 20 something years, and it was crazy. And I told the lady, what are you gonna do? What happened? And she, tell me her whole life story, and and we had a couple of weeks to close or to catch up the payments or something, and she says, if I think she owed about 12,000, so I think we ended up giving her 4,000, so it was about 16,000 altogether. And I said, what do you need? And she says, if I had $4,000, hallelujah, I would be in a great place. And I said, well, I'm going to see if I can get you that much money. And she says, well, if you can't, okay. She says, if you can get me something, okay. All right. I said, well, I'm going to get you as much as I can. And she had taken in kids and grandkids and neighbors' kids, and she had kids all over the place and not getting paid for anything. So we got the contract. We started getting all the paperwork, getting the payoff and all that stuff. And I was telling a buddy of mine, I said, oh my God, and this lady, and I'm trying to help her. And just all of a sudden he says, well, I have money. So how much you need? And I said, well, 16. And he says, huh, yeah, okay. I'll put the money down. You want to split it? Yeah, okay. How much are we going to sell it for? I said, I don't know. Okay, but 16,000 can't go wrong. And I said, no, you can't. Okay. And then after he put the money down, that's when he says, hey, I was looking at the school districts. It's not a really good school district. And I said, come on. You think for 16,000 you're going to get a, North Side 5-star rated number 10 for 16,000? So we sold it within a month, and we split 6,000 on it. So he was happy. He got his money back, and everything was good. But it was just talking to people, asking them what they want, what they're looking to do, what's going on. And I must have spent 2 hours there at that house. That was it was in pretty bad shape. But just talking to people, listening, and sometimes people just need to vent. They just need to tell you how bad their life is, and somebody to say, wow, oh man, oh, that's terrible. Wow. Okay, well, sign right here, and let's get this done. Let's get you some money. Let's get you out into a better place. And they're happy, they're grateful, and yeah. And the crazy thing was, the house next door, they had gutted it on the inside. The outside, it looked just like all the other houses, but we looked in the windows and it was gutted. And I said, you know what? I'm going to sell the house to the next door neighbor. So sure enough, I found out who it was, and they had just sold it. So I had called the realtor, and of course he wanted some money. And I said, well, get it from your guy, because I'm not going to pay you to list my house or anything, but I want to talk to him. He says, well, I said, look, if your guys want to buy another house, have them call me. Maybe they'll give you something. So the guy calls me, and, he says, hey, so what's going on? You have a house? And I said, yeah, it's next door to yours on Bluebonnet. Oh, yeah, that's a great area. Oh, we love that area. And, okay. And I said, well, how much did you pay for yours? And he said, like 35, or he said 30,000 or something like that. And I said, well, mine's 22. And he says, oh, yeah? He goes, okay, well, yeah, I'll buy it. Okay, great. Damn. I was like, damn it, I left so much money on the table. But we got it done quick. And like I said, I think we owned it about a month and a week, 5 weeks we owned it. So quick money. But that was exciting. Fun times. But what other questions you got, or thinking about, or not sure about?
Kent, if you're willing, you've got some rentals, it sounds like, or some small multis in San Antonio. Anything that you've seen kind of differently so far in 2020, or anything you're doing differently?
You know, I'll be honest. I've been since COVID hit, I've been kind of out of the loop. This is my first reintroduction back into the real estate space in quite a while. I was working out in the oil field up until 3-4 months ago, trying to build capital. Wife's active duty. So when this all hit, it kind of put a halt, with the kids being out of school and everything. So I haven't seen too much. The rentals have been doing fine. I don't manage them. I let I got a property manager for each one of the properties that I do own. But tenants have been paying. I can say that, which was surprising when this all first hit. But everybody's been paying. We did have some issues with one of the properties we own off of General McMullen, but it's a DC class property, and that's to be expected in that type of area. It wasn't anything out of the ordinary. So other than that, it's been business as usual from my standpoint. And what about yourself?
Nothing new on the single families. We were kind of confident we were able to renew several leases this spring.
Okay.
And we had one turnover due to a job loss and a lease ending. So we made accommodations for her for the last 3 months of her lease. But we were able to go in and release it remotely. So the folks didn't actually step foot in the house until they got the keys, after they've been approved and done their paid their deposit and paid their rent, and we got a small rent bump out of it at the same time, and we were only vacant 10 days between rents. So our crew that would normally refresh the units were suffering with COVID at the time, so my wife and I got to do the rehab on that one. But yeah, I know Rick was there. Rick was willing, but I was a little tight with the dollar that week, so.
Yeah.
But it happens from time to time. What part of the oil field are you working in?
Oh man, we move around. I haul frac fuel, so we kind of go wherever the jobs are. Last job I was on, we were out in New Mexico. We constantly up in Midland area, outside of Austin. So yeah, it just varies. We're all over the place. Wherever they're fracking at, we're kind of there on site.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you know the Highway 285 RV park by chance?
It sounds very familiar.
It got hit with the tornado in February.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of our investments. So
really?
Yeah, we stopped by there on the way back from New Mexico a couple months ago, and it was basically completely destroyed in February, cleaned out, and it was back up to almost 90% occupancy at the end of June.
Yeah.
So we drove there. We were really surprised. We got our liquor license in June as well, so we can sell beer and wine out of the office. So it's coming back. We need to keep the oil patch moving.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
That's good. You do that on a regular basis, or do you do like a stint and then come home for a stint, or how does it work?
Yeah, exactly. So I chose to do the frac fuel just because they're a lot more flexible. So yeah, I'll go out for a couple of weeks and then come home for a few weeks if I choose to. Yeah, a lot of flexibility. I like it that way, again, with the wife being active duty and the kids being young. So, I go out, make some money, and then come home and relax a little bit, check on things. I also have a vending machine company up in Austin. So we've got about 6 or 7 vending machines in the Austin area at different businesses or whatnot. So it gives me a chance, come home, check on those, and kind of just hang out for a little bit before I'm off again.
Oh, cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Ken, you know where Vernon, Texas is?
I do.
You want to buy a house over there?
Well, we'll talk offline. We'll talk
All
offline.
right. $8,000. $8,000.
Man, Yes. My house in Vernon, Texas. Yeah.
So Todd, you said you had a bump up in rent. Nobody asking for rents to come down or anything?
No, that same person was our person that when we send the reminder for payment 5 days before the end of the month, she would pay 5 days before the end of the month. So she was really good. And then as soon as she was laid off, she let us know, and she asked for a 50% cut. We met her at the middle and said, hey, we'll cover costs, but your lease has only got 2 months left. We'll give you 1 more month to kind of figure things out because we don't want to kick you out in May. And then she's like, hey, that really helped. She found something else to move in with family in Austin, and left the house in good shape. And
That's good.
we went in and did the repairs that were needed and got it leased up. So, but it was the first time doing everything with like Facebook Live and all the applications online and everything online. So we just left a lockbox at the house, and then they came over and we gave them the code and they let themselves in. So
Cool.
Had we not had to order one part for the refrigerator and go over there after they moved in, we still never would have met them in person. But, we dropped that part off, and that was pretty much it. So knock on wood, everybody else has been doing their thing, and we haven't had a lot of maintenance calls, and like other than that one expected tree limb that almost hit those cars, we've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, they were the end branches where, of course, it gets real small. They were on the car.
Yeah.
So when I was pulling it off, I was like,
Yeah.
let me just pull this off gently so I don't scratch your nice Cadillac.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, we had trees trimmers there trimming the trees and fixing the fence. Not that tree because it was all live, just like a week earlier, because it was pickup time. And I think that fell like 3 days after the pickup for the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So, but it happens. It happened in our house last year. The branch we had the kids swing tied to, all of a sudden we came down and a 12-inch branch was on the ground, and underneath of it was the kids swing. So it happens.
Yeah.
But no, appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, all right, guys. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to put this on somewhere, or maybe put a link to it or do something. I don't know. I'll see if my niece can figure it out after I spend about 20 or 30 minutes trying to do it. And so I'll probably put it on the Frugal Real Estate Guy. If you haven't seen that on Facebook, Frugal Real Estate Guy, or frugalrealestateguy.com for my blog and everything else. So
You got a nifty guest post coming up?
We'll have a guest post coming up in the next, before the 1st, definitely before the 1st of
I wrote it like 8 months ago too, so the turnaround time is not stellar.
Yeah.
Real estate ideas for 2020.
So
For that.
yeah, I'll have it out there, and then I'll share it to my Facebook page. So it'll be on everywhere, and yeah, so you can see it, and anybody else, if you want to tell them about it, they can see it too. So I think I started either right before or right after 7 o'clock. So yeah, they can see what we talked about. And if you want to look back or get notes, and you can see the brew meeting coming up on the last Thursday of the month.
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully, well, maybe we'll be out at one of the bars or something in Bernie.
Oh,
Maybe
I don't
next
know about August, September. We're hopeful in September. If
September.
all the kids don't spread all this around and sky all the cases, then we might get the all clear to have a beer in September.
Yeah. Well, cool. All right. Well, guys, I'll leave the meetup open for a few minutes, and then I'll close it up. But if y'all want to talk to somebody else, go right ahead. I'll give you a few more minutes. All right.
Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead, everyone.
everybody stays on.
Have you fed the dogs?
No. Yep, everybody left. Okay.